Mihir Joshi. This is the MJ Show live from the Facebook office. And first things first, before we even get into who my guests are today, let me apologize. I said I'm going to be here at 10:30. I have reached here late for the first time. And let me introduce you to my very punctual guests who are absolutely incredible. Let's welcome on the MJ Show, firstly, from BSIM, Adhunika, Prakash, and you guys know what? Can we get them on the screen? Can we get them on? There you go. So from BSIM, Adhunika, Prakash, and the very lovely Sameera Reddy, who has left her little baby, 3-week baby, and has come here, reached here in time. So I blame Mumbai traffic, and it's just insane how much time
blame
it
the
took.
Mumbai rains, Mumbai traffic,
all of those things.
But we got here on time.
They got here on time. So, firstly, welcome on the MJ Show.
Thank
There's
you.
so much to talk about, so we'll rush straight into it. Before we get into, this is World Breastfeeding Week. That was one of the main reasons why I wanted to get the two of them together to talk about everything related to breastfeeding. Now, it might seem a little awkward or odd. Well, not awkward. I'd say odd that there's a guy moderating a panel about breastfeeding. But I think that is possibly, in my opinion, what is
I think
most
it's
important.
super damn cool.
Yeah.
It's important to talk
When
about.
you get men involved into conversations like this, other men feel like, hey, even I can talk about it.
Absolutely.
There's this cool, hot, sexy-looking dad talking about breastfeeding. That's what we want,
So, you know what? Let's get into it. Firstly, I want to talk to you. Congratulations on Naira.
Naira,
your
yes.
3-week-old baby
Yes.
girl. And this is your second baby. I mean, your second child.
Yes.
And, firstly, I want to get, you've been very vocal about your journey from before Naira was born to right now, the challenges that you're facing. So, the first thing I want to find out is a little bit about your journey, not just your breastfeeding journey in the last 3 weeks, but your journey as a mother to this point right now.
It's interesting because I'll be very honest. My target audience when I was acting was a lot of guys who were like sexy Sam, she's all about being like, it's all TNA.
Yeah.
I'm being very candid here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the truth is that personally, I'm not that person. I'm a very, my husband says, foot in mouth. I say exactly what I want. And my personality is something I'm very open about things. But I felt in my career, I kept it together because I felt that was a nice positioning for me.
Right.
I had my first child. And I don't know what light bulb went off in my head. But I put on a lot of weight. I got quite depressed and I sat at home and I didn't talk to anybody for a long time because I felt I was not good enough.
Right.
In a nutshell, I had the second child. I don't know what tube light went off. And I was like, you know what, screw this. I need to get on because it's not fair.
Yeah.
I can change as a person. This is not who I am.
Correct.
And if I'm not sexy Sam and I'm not this perfect mother and this is wrong. I'm like, why are we putting so much pressure on ourselves as women or as people?
Correct.
And that's where my whole Imperfectly Perfect campaign was born.
Yep.
Because I decided we're going big.
Yeah.
We're just going to call it. So when I got onto Instagram 6 months ago, only 6 months ago,
right.
I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to say what I feel.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that a lot of people went, a little bit like, oh my God, she's showing a bump. Oh, it's so big.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so ugly. I'm like, yeah, where did you come from? It just started moving in this beautiful direction.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting even men to understand that it's okay to be honest. It is okay to be honest about putting on weight, aging.
Yeah.
Ye to badi healthy dikh rahi hai. I mean, stuff like that is okay. We all are different versions of ourselves.
Correct.
And this is for men and for women.
No.
So the journey is such, where now it's a very honest journey. That's the word.
I think it's phenomenal. When I saw your Imperfectly Perfect hashtag and I saw what you were doing with it, I thought it was ridiculously empowering, ridiculously strong for a woman, especially in the entertainment industry. It's the worst thing that I can think of, honestly speaking. When women are, when they come into the entertainment industry, and they obviously, when the fact that they are in the entertainment industry, they look good, they keep themselves fit and everything. I hate the kind of backlash that women get when they go from being stars to being mothers. I mean, you're still a star, but you're a mother. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh my God, how much weight has she put on? Now, when the baby goes away, they suddenly expect the mothers to become like, super sexy once again. That's not going to happen. That's not the reality that exists in our universe. And like you said, if people find any of those things odd, that's their problem. It's their fault, not the mothers.
It's extremely sad that you reduce women to only a size.
Yeah.
how about focusing on, well, women can give birth to life.
Yes, absolutely.
We can nourish babies through our bodies.
Absolutely.
But no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's dive, just take the focus away from that on the goddesses that women can be. And just reduce them to their size.
I think the whole word for me is to celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrating your flaws, celebrating your fat, celebrating your failure, for heaven's sake.
Absolutely.
You celebrate it, because from there you can move into a superb, different dimension of who you can be.
Yep.
And that's why we're here today. We're here to talk about, not to just drone about preaching stuff. It's to say that even you out there, there are so many times where you feel you failed.
Yeah.
There's so many times you feel that you've changed. It's overwhelming as a new father. It's overwhelming as a new mother. It is overwhelming to age.
Yeah.
It is just freaking overwhelming in general.
Yeah.
So you need to have an honest conversation, and that's why we're here today. We're here today because she has started this amazing
group. Yeah.
And when I first had Naira, my first week was crazy because I was like, I got this. I've had one child. I know what I'm doing. Oh my Lord. I cried so much the first week because I was like, I can't do this. Why is she crying? I don't know what's happening. Milk is not coming. Top feed de do. There was so much weird information coming from everybody in India, of course, who has an opinion on everything.
Correct.
And that's why your group, surprisingly, I was shocked as to how many of my own friends were already members who said, listen, we got on when we had the baby. We got our information, and it really worked for us because there's this honesty in your group. And so I want to let everybody know, and Mihir wants to let everyone know that you get onto this group, BSIM.
Yeah, so you know what? This is the perfect time to segue to Adhunika. Now, she was talking about how BSIM as a group has, even in the 1 week or so that she's been on it, has helped her. I can attest to the fact, my wife found BSIM, I think when my son was about a month or so old. And like she said, the problem right now with our society is there's so much misinformation. There are so many myths that are prevalent in our society where, it's like like Neha was telling me the other day, my wife, that if a baby is cranky when they are little, they, somebody like an older person will tell them, "Arey, bachche ko doodh nahi mil raha hai." To usko,
that's the first thing.
Babies are cranky when they are kids because they are supposed to be cranky. They're supposed to be crying. It doesn't mean that they're not feeding enough or that the mother is not capable of giving enough milk to the baby. Now, these are things which I would also not have understood or known had I not got the information.
And they're constantly scaring you.
Constantly. Instead of supporting the mother and giving her, enabling her to tell her that, what you're doing is great. Keep at it. What do you need? Do you need food? Do you need rest? Instead of looking at those aspects, everybody is like, yaar, ye karo, wo karo, usko गाय का दूध पिलाओ, ये. So, there are a whole bunch. दूध कम है. That is the biggest thing.
कुछ भी हो जाए, बच्चा रो रहा है, दूध कम है. बच्चा सो नहीं रहा है, दूध कम है. बच्चा कुछ भी कर रहा है, दूध कम है. बच्चा सुसु नहीं कर रहा है, potty नहीं कर रहा है, दूध कम है.
It's not fair.
Each and every time a mother is questioned.
And it's an emotional feeling. What I've noticed is when I'm feeling low, I just don't get enough milk to give the baby because I'm feeling low.
Correct.
So one thing is you got to keep the mother happy, and for which you can't be scaring her.
Yeah.
And in all my breastfeeding posts, I see most women saying that they are not supported. That they feel someone is making them feel not good enough. Or it's not happening. And that's why today, it's nice that we're going to address these questions. Do we have questions?
We have a lot of questions, but before we get into the questions, very briefly, can you tell everybody a little bit about what BSIM is? When did you start it off so that people get an idea of what BSIM does?
So BSIM stands for Breastfeeding Support for Indian Mothers. And I started this group when I felt really, really lonely as a breastfeeding mother. Like we all discussed just now, at every point of time, everyone will ask you, are you making enough milk? I don't think you're making enough milk. And you know what? Formula is better than breast milk because it has nutrients and it has this additional, minerals and vitamins.
Correct.
So, you feel so depleted because you're doing the best for your child.
Yeah.
But at the same time, everyone is around you is making you feel like you can't provide enough milk for your baby.
Right.
So this incidentally happened when I was sleepless for, several nights at a stretch. Like, breastfeeding mothers will vouch for it.
Yeah.
And I felt I didn't have anyone to talk to. Just to tell me it's fine. You're doing a great job. And, you'll come, it'll go, it's a phase. So keeping that in mind, I started the group 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I started sharing information about how amazing breast milk is.
Right.
Not just for the baby, but also for the mother's health.
Correct.
And I started talking about the problems that women are dealing with on the group. So in the first year, we had about 300 members.
Now 100,000 and strong. Awesome.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing journey to, be that voice. Now I feel that we can change the breastfeeding landscape in India.
Yeah. Correct.
We're now amplifying the voices of breastfeeding women in India. We're talking about, the policies that need to be changed.
She just told me that there is no law supporting a woman who wants to breastfeed in public.
Yeah.
So that means anybody can tell you to leave a premise and not be held like responsible in the court of law or just as your citizen, as your right. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So these are very important issues, as well as, of course, supporting breastfeeding with the whole physical aspect of it.
Yeah.
So in countries like UK, Australia, Ireland, all of these countries have laws which explicitly state that you cannot ask a breastfeeding mother to leave a physical space when she's breastfeeding.
Yeah.
But on our group, we hear stories of how women are being told to breastfeed in toilets.
Yeah.
They're being asked to leave, restaurants,
I think that's
malls,
part of the
physical
questions.
spaces.
I saw that.
Because
like
they're breastfeeding. I'm like, this is the time when everyone needs to support her and enable her, not,
Correct.
Keep her inside this pod or inside the nursing room, because we don't want to see breastfeeding women in public.
Correct.
It's natural. It's beautiful.
I was speaking with Adhunika yesterday on WhatsApp, and I was telling her, or I think on a call, and I was saying the problem right now with our country is that men, when they hear the word breast, the only connotation with that is, oh, sexy, or oh, taboo. Oh, I see that when nobody else is looking at me. All those, I wouldn't say negative. Okay, even admiring a woman for her beauty is natural. But the point is, realize that the main purpose that breasts were made was to feed your children when you have them. Eventually, whenever a woman has a child, that is what it was made for. So if you think that, admiring a woman for her beauty is natural, this is even more natural. This was the original purpose for those things. So if she wants to feed her child, whether she wants, and the child doesn't decide that it's in a mall. Oh, now I can't eat because I'm in a mall. Or I'm in a restaurant. How can I ask my mommy for food right now?
Yeah.
It makes sounds. It tells you when it's hungry and when he or she is hungry, and when she is hungry or when he is hungry.
But this is the most amount of questions that I got on my chats when I was promoting this was, Sam, what do you think? And I was like, I don't think anything. I think you should go right ahead and feed.
Exactly.
And then the question that got me was, is it okay to feed with your older sibling? I mean, with the older sibling.
Yeah.
I was in shock because my son is 4 years old.
Right.
And I think he would freak the hell out if I told him, leave the room, beta. He would be like, oh, my mother has abandoned me.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think it is very important to keep that thing going.
Not just
it has to be natural.
I think when he grows up,
Yeah.
he will see that as a normal and
thing.
natural way to feed a baby.
I especially see older relatives telling kids, अच्छा बेटा अभी
बाहर
बाहर
चले
जाओ
जाओ.
क्योंकि अभी मम्मी को कुछ करना है. That shouldn't be the case. Like you said, if it becomes natural, he'll grow up thinking that this is how it should be. It won't feel like.
But I have to tell you something really silly. So I don't really have help with my baby. Yeah, trust me, you all think actors have nurses and we're so cool and all. I don't have anybody. I have the best mother-in-law in the world.
Nice.
But on the first day, I kept somebody because somebody said I should keep her jhapa. Whatever. She came. First day, she's telling me, Madam, aap cover kijiye. In my living room. I said, why? So she's like, log dekh rahe. I said, my maid and my husband are around. Haan, lekin nazar lagega. And I was like, what? Are you crazy? Now I'm in my house and like I swear within 10 minutes she was out of there. Because it was like, I was like, I cannot have someone stay in my house and tell me what to do who's starting off with cover kar lo, nazar lagega. It is not, it is just that the thought process needs to change.
It does.
To be honest, I want to share a story. The first time I was breastfeeding in public after 40 days, the confinement period, I went out. I was at a coffee shop. And I placed my mother at one place, my husband in one place, just to ensure that my breast is not seen.
Yeah.
I was like, किसी को मेरा breast नहीं देखना चाहिए. And now, I've been breastfeeding for so many years. I actually feel, देख लिया मेरा breast?
Yeah.
कुछ भी exceptional नहीं है मेरा. It's totally fine. This is the purpose of my breast.
But I'll tell you
and if you
something.
get happy, so be it.
In
but
rural India, they're okay with
They're
it.
absolutely fine.
It's us in the cities
It's in
who
the
are
urban
like,
areas,
oh, we're so,
over-sexualization.
exactly.
This is what happens when you go to the mall and you see lingerie ads, right?
Yeah.
And then you feel, oh, this is the purpose of breasts, to
Yeah.
entice people.
Exactly.
So this is what happens. It's all very ironical, right?
It is,
because
it is.
the purpose of breasts is to feed. So in these rural areas, women are breastfeeding without any issues.
I'm going to actually do like a chat show where I'm going to go up to like 10 men and say the word breast. And they're going to be like,
no.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, you know those Vox Pop type interviews where you walk onto the street and you get, this is the next thing that BSM should go.
What do you feel when I say the word?
What do you feel? Yeah, the breast.
I'm scarred for life,
Okay, listen. So
any more questions?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of questions. We'll go quickly through them. When Adhunika put up a post on BSIM, the 1 lakh strong people, we got some phenomenal questions. And I'm going to pick up some of them. The first one was, in fact, what we spoke about just a little while ago. Natasha Babbar said that I'd like your opinion when women are asked to breastfeed in toilet or in a feeding room rather than in a public space. So we kind of addressed that right now. I think...
yeah, of course. No, it has to happen.
It has to happen.
So I think as new mothers, you might need that support of the feeding room. But once you're confident breastfeeding in public, don't hide breastfeeding mothers. Let them be everywhere. Normalize.
Be fearless, man. I mean, you've given birth.
Yeah. You've gone through birth.
You know what? I'll tell you one thing. I noticed a change in Neha, as well, my wife. When we started going out, she'd be very apprehensive about feeding the baby, or she'd have like a shawl or some sort of a thing covering her. About a week ago, we went shopping and she wears a baby carrier, which I completely recommend. Like, that baby carrier has saved our life. He goes to sleep in that. He feeds in that. So she's wearing him. We were in a shopping mall. We were looking for some furniture, and he got hungry. So she put him in the carrier. She brought him down to a position where he can feed in the carrier. She was walking around.
Superb.
Fed him over there.
Superb.
He went off to sleep. And it is phenomenal. Like, I'm telling you, you don't have to be afraid. And when you're wearing a carrier, it's not, you're not exposing to the public or whatever. Maybe she said that, maybe a couple of people gave me a little stare.
Let them, because that's the way to create change.
That's the way to create change.
Make people uncomfortable, right? The first time they'll cringe.
Yes, exactly.
Like, oh my God, what did I just see?
When I put
but the second time they see a woman breastfeeding in public, they'll be like, okay, I've seen this before.
Exactly.
It's the norm.
And it's normal. So in fact, Avani Dodia and Sindhu Ravi Kumar spoke about NIP, nursing in public, and the normalization of that. Most moms stay locked inside home because they're not getting support and freedom to NIP. So your thoughts on that? We've already kind of talked about it. But
understand that your mental health is most important in general, it's most important. But when you're breastfeeding, you've got to feel really good about yourself. And the one thing I've noticed in this last 3 weeks since I've given birth is that, man, I get depressed. I have postpartum, I really do. And it sucks because I feel like sometimes I just cry, I feel bad. Yeah. And just getting out for that fresh air and that cup of coffee or with friends, I come back and I'm like, I'm like all set again to go at the whole night feed situation. Yeah. Mental health is super important. Please get out of there and try to just not worry about what people are saying. So that's definitely there.
Absolutely. Bhargavi Vishwanathan says, would like to know if she would be vocal about breastfeeding mothers' struggles, and from her point of view, how important is it to have a support system for feeding for a long period of time. So essentially, you're already vocal about it. You're talking about your breastfeeding journey. You're talking about the struggles that you face. And you know what? The most important thing I think that you're doing is, again, something that... so Neha and I talk a lot about all of these things. I learn a lot from her. And I realized one thing: most celebrity mothers are only talking about products or brand endorsements and things like that. Or all the pictures are perfect. Like, oh, look, this is how it is. And it's such a refreshing change to find a celebrity mother who's saying, this is the reality.
Yeah.
I get depressed, or I might get, lonely. I might have struggles. I might have problems. I might be worried. I might be like all of the things that you've been talking about. I think it's so important that an audience sees that. And I love what you said a little while ago about saying that, most audience people think that, or your fans think that, oh, you are an actor, you got all the support in the world and you got all the money in the world, so your life is easy.
No,
it's not.
I never, and I'm okay with everybody having nannies and stuff.
Yeah.
But the truth is that I didn't have help with Hans because I was sitting at home, so I didn't have a job. So I was like, might as well take care of him. But with her also, as I said, I got that jhapa in from one day, and she literally sunawed me. Like I was some nobody and I didn't know anything, and I was like, please get out. And I've literally done it alone now for the last 3 weeks. Yeah. And the support is that I love the fact when my husband, like when I pump and then my husband does one feed in the night so I can sleep better.
Exactly.
And even he feels more connected with the baby. So my thing to guys are, first of all, You will look super hot and super cool if you support your wife. And if you're walking around with that baby, trust me, everyone's like, oh, he's such a cool dad. It's about being the modern dad.
Yeah.
It's about getting out there and really like owning it that you're the dad and you can do something. This whole thing ki main diaper nahi change karunga, mera kaam nahi hai. It's all gone.
It's completely gone.
In fact, if a guy is with a carrier with the baby on, I'm like, man, he's so cool. You know,
Okay,
so that's
I'm also going to ask Mihir to talk a lot about this because
Yeah.
he's been a big advocate of supporting breastfeeding mothers.
Yeah.
Because Neha's baby, I mean, their baby is already a year old now.
Correct.
And he's written articles also about what husbands specifically can do to enable their wives
And you know what?
during the breastfeeding journey.
Gentlemen, let me say something to you. Forget the fact that it's the modern and the right thing to do. Nothing connects you to your child more than doing something as simple as changing his diaper or holding him close to you and walking around with him in the carrier. Now, mothers automatically get that, all right? Because they feed the baby. So the baby gets that skin to skin contact and that closeness that automatically starts happens. You should see Neil, my son. The moment I walk into a room, he immediately wants to come to me. And I can guarantee that is because I took that effort from the time and I was never worried. I think I have a picture of me. We used to have a bai to do his massage and bath for the first few months. One day she couldn't come. And he was about a month old. And I bathed him. Before my wife, before my mother-in-law, before anybody, I said, let me do it.
Yeah.
Because I was mentally more confident than either of them because he was like really tiny.
Yeah.
I said, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah.
And it made me feel so close to him. It gave me so much... Like, I love that boy more than the world itself. And I keep joking with my wife. 5 years ago, I'd written a song imagining I'd have a baby girl. And I used to always talk about the fact that I want to...
You still can.
Probably, yeah. So, I used to always joke about the fact that I want a baby girl. And I'm telling you, the day he was born...
Yeah, your life changes.
It just changed. And I'm just so happy that I have a healthy, happy baby.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's a boy. If he was a girl, I would have probably loved him more. But okay. But the point is, he's the center of our universe. And I think that has happened because I've spent that time from the start. Like literally today before we came, because we brought him over here, Neha wanted to get ready. I changed his diaper. And I'm okay with that.
But guys need to understand
You
that
know
it's
what?
cool.
I also want to add that while it's great for the baby, it's great for your relationship with your
the
wife.
With your wife.
my
Oh, yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah.
You know, because
Post baby, I cannot tell you how many men say we feel disconnected. I'm like, yeah, it's not about you.
it's
And
really
it is
not.
about together. It's about doing this together.
yeah,
You know, so that's one
absolutely.
thing. I mean,
So yeah,
any other
I
questions?
cannot
Cluster feeding.
Yeah, trust. Yeah.
So yeah,
Cluster
sorry.
feeding. Who's asked? Kavya Vasudevan has asked. Can you talk a little bit about cluster feeding? Do you know what the
I don't know
term
what
is?
cluster feeding is.
So cluster feeding is when the baby is feeding very often. And when the baby is feeding often, a lot of women start feeling that they're not making enough milk, which leads.
Is it like a growth spurt thing?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
So typically babies will breastfeed
Naira
often.
does that, yeah.
We will cluster feed during a growth spurt.
Yeah.
So this is a time when women start feeling I'm not making enough. Do I need to top up? Do I need to give formula? Do I need to do anything else? But at this point of time, this is again where support comes into play, where a mother should just relax and feed the baby and do nothing else.
Correct.
And that should be valued.
Correct.
So that's the way to survive a growth spurt and go through cluster feeding.
And I think
and
also
nursing
very
lying
important.
down.
No, and nursing lying down. And I think when
lying
cluster
down,
feeding is
so that
happening,
you're
I
not sitting
think
up. So when you lie down and breastfeed, the mother can also go to sleep and the baby can also rest. So it's not the mother shouldn't be straining herself.
Interesting.
There's no need to be up and awake all night. Just feed the baby while you're lying down.
in fact, this is something that we started doing. So apart from lying down and feeding, at least while the baby is really small, co-sleeping.
Yeah.
So, on the same bed with your husband and you, if you have your baby there, then you don't have to always get up and hold him or hold her and, feed her and then sit down again. We did that for the first couple of months. But then Neha realized that, okay, she can sleep on her side.
For the first 2 months especially, it's very important. At least I prefer co-sleeping because I just cannot be getting up and doing everything on my own.
Exactly.
It's hysterical.
I did this with my first as well, and we were abroad at that time. So literally, it was feeding the baby, changing the baby, keep the baby down, and the baby's awake again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this never ever
That
gets
can't
over.
work. Yeah.
So the only way you can, go through breastfeeding for as long as you want to is like you sleep when the baby's,
Sleeping,
feeding.
And from personal experience, I'll tell you, at such points of time, one of the ways of calming the baby down, maybe it's because of the position, is again carrier. If you, I used to do that when he was really, really small. Like she needed a break at night, so I'd hold him in the carrier and I'd just walk around. So that walking motion.
There is no that wrong.
that walking motion. Or when they're really small, if you just go for a car ride,
Yeah.
the movement of the car also, of course, not in the first 40 days, but maybe when they're 2 months or 3 months old. Like if you just can't get your baby to sleep, get your wife, sit in the car, take
And
a
just
10-minute
ride,
ride, and he'll go off to sleep. Okay, last couple of questions. Nandini asked what we already spoke about. Nandini Krishnamurthy said that, if I'm a second-time mom too, just like you, and my first child is a 5-year-old daughter, and how would you address the
I feed in front of my son.
just go for it.
I'm
Absolutely.
not going to even hide it.
It's the
I'm
best
not
thing
ashamed
you're
of it.
doing.
I think it's
You
damn.
should. You
I'm
should be
very
proud
happy
of
with
it.
it.
You
Yeah.
should be proud of it.
Ankita Patni asks, would like to know what your take is on natural term weaning, as most moms give up breastfeeding even before their kid turns 2-year-old under pressure and shame from family and society.
So
Such an important thing.
No, I mean, I breastfed Hans, my son, for 1 year, and it's weird, but I kind of weaned him off then because I kind of knew that I was done. I think people who go up to 2 years is also cool, but I know everybody has a threshold, and my mental and emotional threshold was 1 year, and then I weaned him off.
Okay.
So everybody has different times, and again, there's no set time.
Yeah.
Adhunika, I want to address something that I know you speak a lot about on BSIM, which is pumping versus feeding directly. At what point of time is it a good time to start? When or what mothers need it? Like right now, she had to come out, so obviously pumping was an essential thing that needed to happen, so that
Which
the
didn't
baby-
happen. That means this is my last question.
Last-
I have to run back.
She's got to run back. You know what? I'm going to respect that.
I will. For me, to close this in one point with pumping. I have to say that people told me if you pump more, you'll get more milk. But what happens is sometimes then there's too much and you get engorged. So there has to be that very beautiful balance, maybe once a day where you're figuring it out.
Correct.
So that is also something that each person has to develop on their own.
Right.
But pumping is not essential or necessary. It's only when you're trying to get out. If I wasn't coming here,
You wouldn't have.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
have.
wouldn't have.
So I just want to add to that a lot of times women feel that, with my first as well, I thought a default was to buy a pump because every breastfeeding mother needs a pump. That's what I thought. So I wasn't formally employed at that point of time. I didn't use it.
No, you didn't.
at
No.
all.
Only if
I
you're
didn't-
trying to get out.
Only if you need to step out.
Yeah.
And even now I feel that more and more women should step out with their babies.
Yes.
Yep.
Take your baby along, whether it's a
And
bank
yeah.
or to the market. Like, of course, if there is an employment-related opportunity, it's different. Like
Yeah.
in this case,
But
take your baby along everywhere. Like
Adhunika, I have to say one thing before I go.
Yeah.
It's just sorry, I have to because
I
now
know you
my
do.
mother-in-law is going to message me any second saying, where the hell are you? I want to say this and I'm very, very vocal about it. We are here talking about supporting breastfeeding mothers, but we need to also support the women who cannot breastfeed. And I have read up on this, and there are a lot of issues women go through. They are endocrinal issues, they are physical issues, and they are not to be shamed. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I am damn passionate about this.
Yeah.
As much as I am passionate about women breastfeeding, I am damn passionate about women who cannot.
Yeah.
And I know this because I've seen friends of mine who have cried, who have been shamed, and who felt like shit. And y'all are not allowed to make them feel like shit.
You're not.
yeah,
They have
absolutely.
given birth, damn it. And they've got that baby there.
Yeah.
That's the biggest job. Post it. If you can breastfeed, great. If you can't, you're also great. So that's one thing I need to end with because I am very passionate about that. Everybody is supposed to be supported. You're a mother, period.
So you know what? Let's end with that. I think Manjula has the perfect way to end. It's kind of what I wanted to say. She wants to thank you because you're one of the celebrities who's been so open to talk about breastfeeding.
Thank you,
You
Manjula.
make new mothers feel encouraged, and they feel that it's not just them going through. It's not just the normal people, but it's also the stars.
Normal,
These are the things that you hear. The first thing I want to say is everybody is, every mother is a mother, okay?
Yeah,
Just
man.
because
Look
it's
at
a
me. This is all my postpartum right
Exactly.
here.
So, it's all very natural. It's all very real. And, talk about this. Get more people talking about this. Make it normal. That's the sort of the closing
Yes.
word of the day. Normalize breastfeeding. This interview is going to be shared on all 3 of our pages. Please ask questions under this. Adhunika and her fantastic team at BSIM will give all the answers possible. I'll also get Sameera when she has a little time away from her baby to maybe give a few answers, at least on her page. And you know what? Follow her on Instagram right now, guys. I love what you're doing. I
Thank
really,
you.
really do. It's phenomenal
you.
what you're doing. Follow BSIM, Mihir Joshi, Adhunika, and Sameera on all forms of social media. Keep this conversation going. And, with that, with all the people who've asked the questions, I'm sorry if I didn't get everybody's names in, but I really appreciate all the time that you guys took in getting involved on this conversation. With all of that done, it's time for me to say thank you, Adhunika.
Thank you
it was
so
lovely
much,
having
Mihir.
you on
Thank
the
you
show.
so much,
Thank you for what
Mihir.
you're doing.
Thank you so
Sameera.
much.
And thank you for being a great dad, man.
Thank you very
You
much.
know,
Happy to
it's nice to see guys like this.
happy to be a good father now. My son's outside waiting. He wants to.
And my daughter's waiting at home.
So we gotta get going. I keep forgetting which camera to look at. I was looking at that camera for some
I'm
reason.
confused.
I was like,
I'm like, I should have been looking here.
my bad,
All
guys.
there.
My bad.
As an actress, I know exactly where the light is. So I'm like, aiming to get my jawline
Right
looking
profile.
a certain way.
See, this is also real. This is also real. I've been doing this for 6 years. We just celebrated 6 years of the MJ show, and I still don't know what camera to look at. But listen, folks, thank you very much for being here with us. This is Adhunika, Prakash, Sameera, Reddy, and Mihir Joshi saying bye-bye.
Thank you.